Hello my dear viewers, welcome to my channel and welcome to this very special video about feminine mannerism in the sense of creating feminine energy and a very romantic, sensual mood. So the techniques and exercises and tips that I will give you throughout this video are very powerful and they can really create a very sensual and feminine aura around you. They also can influence the mood of a situation. And of course, the level of attraction between you and a man. So to start and to already put you in the right mood, I would recommend you to make yourself a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Get very comfortable and watch this video until the end, because it will be packed with feminine secrets. And we will start with the first one, which is related to a topic that is quite popular on my channel, and it's walking and movement. So I have talked a lot about walking femininely, and I have even defined 4 feminine walking archetypes. But there is one thing that will especially put you and someone else in a very sensual, romantic mood. This is not a specific type of walk, but it is a specific way to walk. And it's very simple. Slow down. Walk slowly. When you enter a restaurant or a romantic place where you have your date, for example, slow down. Walk much more slowly than you would usually. If you struggle with walking slowly or with slowing down in general, and you are more hectic or simply very fast, then just help yourself by using tools such as wearing high heels. I'm not a big fan of high heels, but in this specific situation, they really help you to slow down because physically they force you to walk more slowly and more deliberately. This will give him the chance to actually notice you, to perceive you as the feminine energy woman that you are. Tip number 2, walk in a kind of dreamy way. So this now relates to your facial expression and also a little bit to your mannerism, of course. So what I mean by move or walk in a dreamy way, be a little bit lost in your thoughts, but not in a way in which you are in your head and overthinking, because this is not very attractive. But be lost in what you perceive. Be in a receiving and receptive state. So for example, enter a room, a restaurant, and then you see a wonderful bouquet of flowers there. Get your attention absorbed by this beautiful flower, for example, and be a little bit dreamy about it. So simply notice those beautiful feminine things in your surroundings. Perceive them, and this will give you a very romantic look, and you will be perceived as a very feminine woman because you don't simply rush in and don't notice anything, but you are actually drawn to those feminine soft aspects, beautiful aspects of life, such as flowers or some other sensual objects. So this would be another tip for you to create a romantic mood and a feminine energy around you. Number 3, wear feminine clothes, feminine fabrics or colors. And today, or for this video, I am dressed, I would say, super femininely, because I'm not only wearing a very feminine cut dress by the cut itself, but it also has a very feminine pattern and a very feminine color. So it's like 100% girly or feminine. It reminds me a little bit of Disney princess. It's actually a summer dress, and I will show you because it even has a very nice skirt part that is so wide, and if you move or if I move, then it moves with me, and it's really so yeah, it really gives me this feminine feeling, and I love it. But you don't have to wear this kind of clothes. You can also wear something more classic or something that doesn't have a stereotypically feminine cut, but maybe soft color or a color that flatters your skin. So you don't have to combine all those aspects, but you can simply pick one of these aspects, either the cut or the color or the pattern or the fabric, to underline and simply support the feminine appearance and the feminine mannerism of yours. And of course, your feeling, to support your feminine energy feeling. Number 4, body language. And here I will refer to the angle of your body when you are with a man or on a date, because I have already talked about body language in other videos, but here I want to specifically give you some advice on how to put your body to create more attraction between you and a man. So what I would advise you is, when you are sitting in a restaurant and it happens that you sit in front of each other, so frontal, which is not always the best angle, because I would always prefer to sit in a 90-degree angle to each other or even next to each other. But of course, in most restaurants, couples are sitting in front of each other. But then, in order to not be in that frontal position so much, because it is always very blunt, I would recommend you to angle your body a little bit to one side. And I mean in a very subtle way. So instead of sitting like this, just sit like this, or yeah, tilt yourself a little bit to one side, or also have a little bit of a subtle movement. And this will just underline your femininity. It looks very feminine, it looks very interesting, and you can also underline your better side if you have one. I don't know if I have one, but you know what I mean. You can simply play a little bit. When you are sitting next to each other, or for example in a car, and you are talking to the person next to you, I would strongly recommend you to also tilt your body towards the person that is sitting next to you. And even if it is just a little bit, but it also shows that you and your attention and your energy are directed towards this other person. And as I said, those are very small movements, so it's nothing that is very obvious. Number 5, the hip energy. And I will shortly explain you what I mean by hip energy. So as you know, or as you might know if you're already watching my videos for a longer time, or if you are a subscriber, I talk a lot about hip movement, about walking, because I'm also a dancer. If you are not subscribed yet and this sounds interesting to you, now is the time to become a subscriber, and I warmly welcome you. So, as Shakira is singing in her song, hips don't lie. And what I mean by that is that your hip movement can strongly influence your feminine appearance and influence the mood, and also has a strong impact on how you feel in your feminine energy. So it basically creates feminine energy. And we all know that it's also very attractive to move your hips for men. So when we are in this dating situation, because we are now talking about going on a date as an example, to channel feminine energy and to create a romantic mood, you should first put a lot of emphasis on your hips before going out. And you can do that by dancing. For example, if you are not so comfortable with dancing, or you have no experience, or you don't know how to dance, You can also do some specific hip exercises that will also improve your walk and your feminine hip movement. And I have made a whole video on that a long time ago. I will link that here and also down below. Then you can watch it afterwards. It contains a lot of exercises from sensual dance. But if you do that, you will later on be much more energized in that region, and also your hips will move more softly and they might also sway a little bit more, which is of course beneficial. And you can also try to breathe inside of this area. So when you breathe in, you direct your breath into your hips and into your lower abdomen in this area. This will also create a lot of energy there. Number 6, surrender. So this is something more mental. It's more of a mental and also spiritual, maybe even emotional state that I'm referring to. And it's also part of feminine mannerism, and it is also very powerful in creating feminine energy and a romantic environment. And I will tell you what I mean specifically when I'm talking about surrendering. I mean trusting, receiving and enjoying. So don't worry, I will give you some very specific practical examples shortly. But first of all, let me explain what surrendering means to me personally. So to me it means trusting the universe, trusting God, or trusting destiny. Simply surrendering and trusting that the things will work out. They will work out in your way, in what is best for you. And it can also mean trusting your man, trusting this masculine energy that you are with at the date, for example. And specifically on the date, you can just surrender in many different ways. So one very practical way that you could apply from time to time is that you could simply not grab the menu directly, but let your man decide what to order. You can of course give him some hints, tell him your restrictions on what you like, but then tell him to pick for you and trust his choice. Let yourself be surprised by what he picks for you. So this can be, for example, a way of surrendering. Another way could be to be very receptive, because I told you that receiving also means surrendering for me. In a practical way, this could mean when, for example, you get the drinks or a glass of, even if it's a glass of water, you accept and receive this drink or this glass of water with a lot of appreciation. Don't mean exaggerating, but your mental state should be receptive. So you receive it with a lot of, as if it was something very precious, as if someone would offer you a diamond. You receive this. This will give the other person a very good feeling, and it will also give you an aura of feminine energy. And also say thank you. Don't forget to say thank you. You can also receive compliments. You can receive not only gifts, but simply everything that is somehow for you, and even the smallest thing, you can consciously receive it. Number 7. When grabbing something, be very soft and feminine. Do it in a very dainty way. So this is feminine mannerism at its best. If you are, for example, grabbing objects, grabbing things in a very hectic way, or if you are very fast and very too energetic, but I mean in a harsh way, masculine energy is more goal-oriented and is more effective and is faster. So this is actually the opposite of what we want to achieve here. We want to achieve a very soft and feminine mood and put ourselves in that mood also. So we should also move and grab things in a much more feminine and soft way. So, for example, if you are grabbing the glass, let's say the champagne glass, celebrate this act of taking the glass, putting it to your lips. Celebrate it as if you were in a movie or in a very sensual commercial for champagne, for example. This is very feminine and very attractive. And I will just show you. Let's say we take this glass now. I mean, it's empty, but I would just want to demonstrate to you. So the glass, you have the glass here. So instead of just, taking it, you can perceive the glass. So the glass arrived, you receive it. And then you grab it, but your movement is fluid. Your movement is slow and dainty. You grab the glass, you give yourself the time to look at it, to notice what is inside. Maybe you can even smell it if it's wine, for example. You could even play with the glass a little bit. It is just about giving yourself time and celebrating this. And then you can put it to your lips and drink. And also if you put it away softly, in a dainty way. So I think you understand what I mean. And this applies to other objects too. To the salt, to the pepper, to the cutlery, or whatever object is there in this situation. Number 8 is voice and tone. Another very important part of feminine mannerism and of creating a feminine and romantic vibe. Your voice and the tone of your voice are very influential, they are very powerful, and they can certainly create a very specific mood and attraction between you and your partner, or in general. And of course, it is probably obvious what you should avoid in a romantic situation, but I will give you some concrete examples related to those romantic situations, because I have also made a whole video on voice, and I will link it here and down below for you to watch afterwards. It's quite interesting. It has also a lot of examples on how to achieve a softer voice. But what you can remember, if there is one thing that you should remember in a romantic situation, so there are actually two things. First is the volume. So tone down your volume, lower the volume. And the other thing is speak more softly. These two things will already create a better voice for yourself. They will make you sound more feminine and more romantic. They might also be more attractive, because a soft-spoken woman and a soft voice in specific environments, especially in romantic environments, will be very appealing and will underline and emphasize the romantic and sensual mood of the situation. And what you should avoid at all costs is, of course, a loud voice, an aggressive voice, but also a voice where you try to overdo or people please. Learn to control your tone if you struggle with that. Number 9, the smell and hygiene. Take care of yourself, be clean, take a shower, wash your hair, have a nice clean makeup, depending on, of course, the occasion, or if you use makeup, use clean clothing. Simply look clean, but also smell delicious and smell good. And you can really create attraction, and you can put yourself in a specific mood by using a good fragrance. And with a good fragrance, I mean perfume, for example. And I mean perfume that suits you, that smells feminine and sensual and good to yourself, and that is also not overpowering. And it simply makes you feel like a woman, or makes you feel like a lady, or makes you feel like a femme fatale. Something that puts you in the right mood. It is one of the most influential things that you can do with regard to feminine mannerism, although it's not really, doesn't really have to do with movement, for example. But many people are nose persons, myself included. Even people who are not focused on their olfactory sense, I think this is the word, so the smelling sense, they will still perceive you as attractive and positive. So don't underestimate the power of the right fragrance. And this is the perfect transition to my next video, because I will link another video here for you that you can watch if you like, and it has to do with fragrances. But I actually made a lot of videos about fragrances, also many reviews. So if this is also a topic that you are passionate about, I would recommend you to watch that playlist, and I will also link that down below. Apart from that, I hope that this video was helpful for you, and if it was, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that very much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!